I just pause so it's easier to take a still when I need one. A still shot. Otherwise, I'm convulsing all the time. Although, not with this neck.
Mhm.
Welcome to Stone Soup tonight. Another all open mic. Happy Labor Day. 2 days ago was Labor Day, and it still kind of feels like Labor Day. So no feature tonight. All open mic. You bring your own words, and we usually do all right by that. So keeping a good thing going. Brandinator 5000. So many people to choose from who are returning after a while, but I'm going to select. I'm going to select Jackie Chow, who's doing the whole circle thing. She's like circling around the entire camera. She's like Mary Tyler Moore. I'm gonna make it after all.
Okay.
Let's have you be the first poet tonight, Jackie.
Okay. I don't want to be kicked out, so I'm gonna screen share again. Even though it hasn't kicked me out lately, but I just don't want to, so I'll have to screen share. Or else I can read from my email, but sometimes when I go to it, I press something and it gets kicks me out of the meeting. Oh, I can't hear you, Chad.
He's
I can hear
turning
you.
on he's
Oh,
turning
okay.
on the screen share for you.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Got
sorry. Give me a
it.
second. Yeah, let me figure out what the problem is. Here we are.
Okay.
And okay, the problem is me. But anyway, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem.
Hi.
It's me.
Okay. Let me share a document. Okay, I think this is I can share. Okay, this is called On the Balcony. I drink in the nectar of the night, the sky a blanket soaked in prune juice. The stars are puncture wounds, the waxing crescent a widening hole where silvery streaks spill out. I drink in the syrupy rays that permeate the mountains where windows open like ice to the city's soul. It is nights like this that I wonder about you, looking back at me among a thousand lights. Okay. And I get to read another short one, right? Okay. Let me go to document. Okay, this is for Dawn. A future. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Let me see. I'll read the second one. Sometime too hot, the eye of heaven shines. Sometime too hot, the eye of heaven shines, that I find myself panting and sweating from tree to tree, and in my search for shade, wander under the green awning of a bakery that's no longer there, whose owner has moved and is happily married. My heart is depleted of love for him or anyone at all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Let's get someone who hasn't been here for a bit. Oh, I was going to get Bill, but seems to be indisposed for the moment. So we'll get Marianne Honecker for the moment. Welcome back.
I've got more ABC Darians. So this is called Breathe into Your Heart. Augment my argument against thinking by thinking. It is the head that wears a crown. Cities with highways like neural pathways. Downtown lights like a mind full of ideas. Eating is a path down into the body. Feeling is subsumed by layers of granite. Go on, heart, lift your flag of surrender. Hampered, the sacral chakra falls silent. I burn a white candle for innocence. Just that. I've nothing to say to the gods. Knotweed has taken over the hill. Leagues of invasive species interrupt my mind. Ads, news, announcements of friends. No clippers can find the real surface. Open up, heart, like a fist of rosebud. Please let me document your contents. Quiet, the horses of my lungs breathe shallow. Rained upon, they nicker and flick their tails. Says my teacher, breathe into your heart. The breath doesn't work that way, but okay. Under my sternum, a thick stone is lodged. Vivisection may be required. I want to know the rain inside my body. Xerox a copy of the thunderheads. Yes is what you should say to your organs, zipped up in your skin, full of the divine. That's all for now. Thank you.
A, B, C. It's easy as. Actually, it seems pretty difficult. We will we will move on to let's see, Mr. Robert Fleming. Let's bring the visual poet and digital artist from Delaware up.
Thank you, Chadworth. So I'm going to share a tribute to summer. Since it's still summer, if you're north of the equator, and I live north of the equator. This is a study in digital art I did about maybe 4 years ago in orange and yellow. So this is the first one. It's called Track Sun, where I imagine that a tractor is moving the sun. And the second one is called Suncore. And here I have a beach path in the city that I live in, Rehoboth Beach. I'd say it's probably about 50 to 100 feet from the boardwalk to the beach. The left side is a black and white image, and then the right side is a color image. And here is an image which is inspired by the movie From Here to Eternity. In that movie, there is a love scene on the beach. And this is more of a marsh scene. And then a balloon boat, both in black and white on the left and in color on the right. And then I'll close with two poems. This is a tribute to the Beach Boys, which includes many of the titles of their songs in the poem. Surfing USA in the shower. Land-bound Barbara Ann. Used to be water surfaced. Dodge a shoulder shot. Furred to be a hare in a little deuce coupe. Hopping in a convertible backseat blast Elmer hunting cocktails. Fudd, get off the wrong side of a firearm. Elmer hunt the surfing safari. When meds get to the incorrect blood level, help me, Rhonda, hunt me back to the hutch. Rain on my rear view mirror. I get around in the rain. The rear seat's vinyl cry. I am true to my school, not to my meds. A seagull beaks a crappy carcass. Fun, fun, fun. Brian, Dennis, Carl, Mike, Al, unshirt. A tongue tip catches a slip and slide from an unhaired neck to navel. Beach Boys, good, good, good. Vibrations. And I'll end with a haiku. Summer sun solstice, half baby baked 98 degrees, winter equinox. Thank you for letting me do a tribute to summer.
Thank you so much, Robert. And next, I'd like to bring up Jan Rowe, if she's available.
Thank you. Hi. Fall coming up. I've heard the geese twice. They seem somewhat confused because they don't really leave anymore. But anyway, this was something I wrote very quickly that came out in the September 2nd weekly. In fact, I didn't even see it because I was telling James I liked his long-term poem on the same page, not realizing mine was on top. It's called 60 Minutes Censored. Old 60 Minutes showed elders singing and dancing, but these same elders could not walk and talk. Also, to show that it's not possible to just have to tell some people or creatures what to do, forget trying to control. For example, some geese were being driven, and I think it was across the Canadian border. The border guard said, "Hey, the geese could not be taken across the border." So the geese got out of the vehicle and they flew over and across the border. And then the geese got back in the vehicle. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And now we will welcome back Bill Lewis, who's been abroad and elsewhere, and now seems to have returned to his Idaho dwelling.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Chadford. Hello, everybody. I am happy to be back. I was 3 weeks in Boston and Philadelphia and doing all sorts of wonderful, crazy things. And I shall begin with there we go. My background is appropriate. Yes, my background is appropriate to my subject. Um, Dear Mayor Wu. I was walking across the Boston Common for the first time since I left Boston 2 years ago, and nobody yelled at me. Nobody asked for spare change. I did not hear anyone cussing. I did not see a single person stumbling around in a drug-induced haze. All I saw were regular people out with their children, out with their dogs, out having fun. It was wonderful. I am certain that some of my very woke friends will complain that you didn't snap your fingers and magically make everything perfect, keeping in mind that they didn't do anything at all. You had the courage to stand up to the defenders of the status quo and make downtown Boston a much happier, much safer place than it had been only a few years ago. There's a great deal more to do, but you have started the power process. Bravo, Mayor Wu. And background, there I am, out in front of City Hall with my sign cheering on Mayor Wu. We have taken the first blow towards changing the world. Go, Mayor Wu.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. I'd like to bring up next Jackie Oldham. Welcome back yourself.
Here we go. Thank you. Oh no. Here we go. Uh, 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 this is my latest published poem. It's in my magazine. Thank you. I 20 now. It's been such
You
a
might you
You're
might
hard
breaking up.
you might want to change your position, Jackie. It's you're breaking up.
illnesses and deaths of family, for relationships at a crossroads as friends move on to their next breaking up. Oh no. Okay, let me stop. Okay, am I clear? Can you see, hear me, and all of that? Or am I not on? Okay, I'm starting over. The poem is Now What? It's been such a hard, bittersweet year. Illnesses and death of family and friends, relationships at crossroads as friends move on, next adventure, leaving me behind. It's so hard to let go, to say goodbye to what felt safe and nurturing, affirming and uplifting, validating and purposeful. I no longer know where I belong. Nothing fits anymore. Nothing feels true. I revert back to Lucy Ricardo, feigning need. She asks, aunt and I, probably from some Warner Brothers cartoon, always emoted the line as, who, what, questions I ask myself now, but there is no answer, only a maw of silence.
Thank you, Jackie. And now I want to bring it over to Mr. Richard Spizak.
Thank you so much. I'm going to take you all down memory lane, perhaps, or at least many of you. This is a little piece I call Medicale Medicinale Marijuana. You might be able to get the drift. The first, rough joint, swollen and choking, the friendly circle, friends daring some dear dread danger, sharing a confidence from hand to hand, from lip to sip, even in balance from hind to mind, caring careful measured moments of miraculous Mary's hot breath. Leafy green or dried and dusty brown, bushy buds or leaves that jagged reaching leaves the mind sieves replace. Out open-minded signs those interruptive stems, the blast berries of brown beetles, seedling bombs, flowering buds, golden bowing bundles of bright brain food, rude to break up stodgy draughts of thoughts, leafy powder pinched to pipe, that first forest time, sitting, friended in the woods, off the road mere mute minutes from the madness. Then the giggling gladness came, raining gales of honest home-baked humor, cage-breaking, bar-bending, balloon bubbles of blue-gray brain-shaking noise with joys. Did the sleeper awake? What did it take? How gradually, gradually the thoughts unclots, tin, turn, global, grander seas, schemes, unveiling, prevailing schemes, larger circles, conceit, indeed the creed, replaced with grace, papers, drapers, rappers, clappers, brain breaching, snappers, slaps, sainted, sapient seekers, treading, treakers, remove the tile tasked mass, sifting on an album book. The look as seeds tumble south. Please plant these striving lives to solid soils embrace. Place bright roots reaching conscious, uncontaining brain rockets, these short sections of fine leaf selections. Are your papers in order? Are they gummed? Are they flavored to match the merry march? Who has papers? Who has the catching march matches? Who can roll the droll tally, troll mighty merit badges for new ages, sages, skills among the circle's pride? Pure brotherhood builder, the ashes compliant complaint, the rituals, victorious, glorious victuals, find the source, surf the course, separate the weeding seeds of need, the stern tides decamped ride, those massive explosive spasms reveals revelry in the deviltry of tiny shirt-stained holes. Who knows what incense the fire's wires flow? Twitch, tumbles of volcanic passion, humble, ashy crumble, spray. Who's pitched part the tribal circle clan? Who knows? And who doesn't? Who knows the codes, the roads, the rules, tools, rolling papers and pipes, the types of pipes, the gassy glass, the gonging bong, the casual co-opted tobacco pipe, corncob, meerschaum, or the specialty antique clay, from bitty metal nettle disguise to bright plastic bongs, from recycled fruity station ordered orange to apple pipe to metal tipped toilet paper tube and roll. The concert scene where you brought jays to burn, the yearning, jarring jays to share the deer cracking on the firing line, from handing man to partial seatward chum, and the row-wise warder. No hoarder hides the true lining, hidden lies subdued for you. The wide array, the tray of colors and textures, dark green, pale green, dry, cracking, sticky brown, amber, reddish, pale green, leafy, pressed rock solid, powdery to pitchy pine, the itch, loosed, baggy leaves, or the rosy red bud of whiter trimmed delight. Papers, zigzag flavored strawberry coconut, thin, fragile, heavy as canvas. Ah, the Frenchy fine, toppers working stiff. Old friend, 1.5, 1.25, or just the serious and solitary one. To daring share, sunlight repeals the stealing ash. Can you bowl and roll a joint that draws well and doesn't run? Even the burning bud draws well without sending failing orange, gold, and glitter hail in the debris that doesn't shower your sweetheart's knees with charming, bejeweled sparks. The stem that starts and pokes like jokes through the paper draper rolls to push unburned, protruding root beyond the bastion of the sacred flame, trailing shrine its time, though thou hast added flame and kisses. I'll stop there. It may ring a bell for some of you, I don't know.
Woo! Bravo! Bravo!
Thank you, Richard. Let's bring it over to Mr. John Wizik.
Hello, I was just going to say that Richard looks like the Zigzag Man. So last time in the Divine Parody, Kurt Vonnegut is leading the poet Jonte through the down through the 9 circles of hell. So we'll catch him up on the 7th circle. I expected flames and choking sulfur inside the walls, but if not for huge tanks of liquid nitrogen coated with rime ice, I would have mistaken the 7th circle for an industrial park with clean, modern buildings and manicured lawns. We stopped before some kind of clinic. Horned nurses pushed patients in wheelchairs through its entrance. The 7th circle punishes coiners of political slogans that frame meaning, Vonnegut said. You know, phrases like death tax, terrorist surveillance program, judicial restraint, and family values. A horrifying shriek came from inside the clinic and clawed at my eardrums. What's that? I asked. Cool mint colon cleansing. We walked on. After the cacophony of screams, the silence of the 8th circle was a relief. The land of censors, Vonnegut said. They've had their tongues plucked out for denying speech to others. He led me to an empty fire station, jumped on the pole, and slid to the deepest pit of hell, yelling, "Whoopee!" I stared at the polished steel shaft. If I went down there would be no climbing back, not that there ever was. I grabbed the metal with my sweaty palms, wrapped my legs around it, and let go. When I landed in the ninth circle, the stench nearly made me retch. Demons in denim overalls were shoveling manure from huge stinking piles into the open mouths of sinners buried to their necks. Many of the faces were familiar. I recognized Enron executives and a few former White House press secretaries. Tellers of official lies. Vonnegut held a cigar under his nose to mask the stink. Seems fitting that they have to eat what they fed us for all those years. See that guy with the red hair? He wrote terms and conditions for credit cards that bilked the public out of billions. I nodded and examined the sea of dreary faces, then spotted my least favorite politician. I grabbed a shovel and ran screaming at the man. I would have bashed in his face if Vonnegut hadn't tackled me and sent the shovel flying. "Let me go! He's a crook! He sold us out to the special interests!" I clawed at Vonnegut's mustache to get free. Vonnegut's haymaker collided with my jaw, and I saw flashes. "Don't you see what I've been trying to show you, you idiot?" Vonnegut banged my head against the ground as with each word he spoke. "There's no Satan here." I sat up and looked around. All I saw were faces like my own. To some extent, I had committed all the sins of the nine circles. Whoever would assign punishments here needed more wisdom and compassion than I had. "So how do we get out of here?" I rubbed my sore jaw. "That's easy. Just jump in any opening." Vonnegut dashed to the red-haired man, climbed into his mouth, and shimmied down his throat like a rabbit swallowed whole by a boa constrictor. I dived in the politician's mouth, forcing myself past his jaws and down his esophagus. Fighting my way through his digestive tract, I realized the lies could have been seen as sarcasm. I began to laugh. Then I cried for all the victims. Down became up. After climbing along the banks of a river whose name began with an L, I emerged into cool night air and searched fruitlessly for my guide. Rocks rattled behind me. "Kurt, is that you?" I turned. One of the overall-clad demons, his skin glowing the Cherenkov blue of a swimming pool reactor, stepped out of the shadows. I stumbled backwards, tripped, and searched the ground for a branch I could use as a weapon. "Peace!" The demon held up his palms. "When you showed me the way out, I decided to leave too." He grabbed his right horn and pulled on it until his biceps bulged and the horn snapped off with a crack that startled a flock of sleeping birds out of the trees. "I quit!" He tossed his horn to the ground and yanked off the other one. "Are any others following?" I asked. "They'll come when they're ready. Where are we anyway?" "Judging by that lemur," I pointed to a face in a nearby baobab tree, "I'd say we're in Madagascar." "Madagascar, huh?" The former demon offered me his hand and hauled me to my feet. You think they have a drugstore nearby? I could sure use some aspirin." Alone in the wilderness, I had little choice but to trust my new companion. He climbed a hill and spotted a road in the distance. After an hour hike through the grass, we arrived there and chose a direction at random. It was little more than a dirt path, but I was content to walk in silence beneath the stars. So ends the comedic inferno.
I love this. I love Vonnegut as action movie hero. Let's go now to Mr. Edward S. Galt.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little tech problem with my technology at the moment. If I could skip to the next spot in line? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble.
Oh, sorry about that. Let's go to James Van Loy while you're setting things up.
Okay. Okay. So this is called take a deep breath. This is not a drill. Speed of life, dawn. It's too much for anyone, much less me, shy as they come, leading from way behind. Oh, Aristophanes, away, so far away, way up in the clouds, peeking, peeking, way down. There we are, around the red hot coals bonfire of the great annual getting together of it, all much larger, more extensive than the they of progress and eternal ever more growth to the height of highest burial ground of those got the high ground, got the control of the strategic advantage supreme indeed, enough to take your breath away and leave it in the next traumatic assault coming on, down a rain of insults, with each daily dose of kaleidoscopic abuse issuing from over there, then over here. The echoes besiege our ears and beat at the portals of each cell, and every artery, vein, nervous circuit jazzed to effect, going rock and roll nation dancing out of our skins, all totally exposed. All. Thank you.
Oh, looks like Mr. Galt is ready.
Yes, I am.
Super. Thank you,
Okay.
James.
All right. Thank you. This piece is called Arrest. It was called Disappearance, but then I noticed I had another poem in my archive named Disappearance, so I had to retitle this one. So it's called Arrest. The neighbors saw them late at night, pound at the door, then break it in and enter. Moments later, they came out with an elderly man and woman in handcuffs. They were small and fragile. Still, the big men held them tight. One of the officers told them to stay quiet, not to resist, not to fight. The couple were dazed, confused, and tired from having been arrested from sleep. An officer told them that they didn't belong. Their time in this country was at an end, and they would be sent back to their own country. The old man explained that this was his country. He and his wife were both citizens. They ran a little store down the street on the corner. The officer said that they would check into all that, but in the end, it would be irrelevant. Um, they did not belong there. Their time here was at an end. They were then put into the van and never seen again. Their shop was boarded up. The neighbors went back to their beds or to stirring their tea. They couldn't sleep well, though. The silence said, the next time it could be me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Galt. And so ends the first round. Jackie, if you want to come back and read another piece. Oop, was it something I said? Oh, there she is.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'll read this piece. It's called Kindred. If you shall look into my eyes, you won't find a spark that is missing in yourself. You'll see no astuteness or selflessness that you yourself are lacking. You won't spread your wings and show me feathers that I do not have, nor will you sing a song with melodies that I don't already know. We share a common blackness, bereft of colors to light up the dark. Birds of the same kind, no matter how far we part, we will end up side by side. Oh, wait a minute. What did I just do? Oh, no. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I thought I got kicked out again. Oh, okay, let me stop
No, you're still
share.
here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you much. And Marianne Honecker will take us through the ABCs once more, perhaps.
Indeed. This one is called Party Girl. A light rain turns deluge. Time, what am I? Bundle of energy stretched over years. Consistent, even if my mind could not describe why I once fucked a friend's crush. Evening's fingers unravel the light. Fainter now, the rain steadies. I was a girl who didn't want to be a girl. A human in name only. Rage and lust, all I had left. My heart just a cavity, jug that held blood as it passed through. Soul kept at bay like a Neanderthal who lunged at a mammoth with a stick. My little party trick, my party game. No one drinks until we find Mary's soul. Over time, I grew more reverberant, loud, percussion amplified by empty space. Quiet now, the thunder lays down its drum. Rare it is for a lost soul to return, sincere as a child to the body it left. The ache of hollows like a hunger. Underwear. Someone stole mine as a victory trophy. Now the streets are drenched. Water is everywhere. I've fallen so deep, Ziphius gladius swordfish swim by. Yoked to what I don't know, I can't say who I am. Zero chances I won't drown in this deep. Thank you.
I'll have to see if these floating emoticons will show up on the show up on the final product in YouTube. Thank you, Mary. And up next is Mr. Robert Fleming.
Thank you, Bill, for reminding me to unmute. Bill, are you here? So I'm going to do a tribute to the upcoming season, which is fall. So I'm going to start with two digital arts. This is called Fall Migration from Everglades Wetland, Florida to Crescent City, California. And then we have another one, Fall Migration from Everglades Wetland, Florida to Sacramento, California. And with the beautiful picture of the snake, I want to ask Chad whether Stone Soup can have a pet, and can Stone Soup have a snake? Oh, he's not answering. This is very similar to the high school jacket I had when I was between 13 and I'd say 15 in high school. And I grew up in Montreal, Canada, where we had 4 seasons. And here is a flash fiction about a different variant on fall. This is called Hair Fall. Under my roof, I'm a dirtier. I watch my beard hair fall into the sink bowl, spray my hair down into the sink drain, and wait until I dam the sink. It's 2 cups of Drano in the drain. Wait, 15 minutes to flush down the Drano. Recite the unclogged prayer. In this waiting, I arrange my floor hairs into an angel. Await salvation in the bathroom from Della, saint of dirt. My other shrine is my kitchen floor. Shoe push floor macaroni under the dishwasher. Della, I pray someday someone will notice the beauty in my dirt. And Della, bring me a lover who'll cherish my dirt hair. And here is a short poem, Test of Fall. We are walking on a path towards each other. Did you plant a GPS tracker in my butt? How did you know I would fall into a ditch? Your bystander right hand reaches for my left hand. Extend my hand, and I will end with a haiku. If someone wants blows, I'm still moon jab punching the boxing ring wind. And thank you for letting me do a tribute to our upcoming season later in the month, the fall.
Right back at you.
Chad, I see you smiling. Does that mean we get the snake?
The snake. Oh God, the snake. Let's go now to Miss Janro.
I was recently back in Southwest PA for my 55th high school reunion. And this is something I just started to write. It doesn't even have a title yet. Popeye, an elderly tall black man, had the last house on Cemetery Road, Brownsville, Pennsylvania, on the Monongahela River. The other houses had collapsed or fallen over the hill towards the supposed whorehouse, Jackie's. And that was in the 1960s, before and after we got driver's license. Now Cemetery Road is completely closed. It's fallen over the hill more. But Bridgeport Cemetery is still reached by 2 other Brownsville streets. One to the new, now old housing projects by my still friend from from grade school, still friends. That one, there's a grade by that. That hill is steeper than 45 degrees. And also in that new housing project, my grandfather, James Duff, 1900 to 1964, he could look across the little road at his parents' grave, his wife's grave, his brother's grave. So, oh, so there's another um, cemetery in Brownsville, but it's also abandoned. The town is dying, but I'm very thankful it was very much alive when I was growing up. But seeing the town die like that, it makes me kind of nervous about the country. Thank you. Jesus, I just added that.
Jan, I grew up in West Mifflin and Munhall.
Yeah, yeah.
55th anniversary, 55th reunion, 55th year. My class could not get it together. And I think by the time, what was it, our 20th reunion, we just kept on, we just gave up We couldn't even organize in a bowling alley. It was so sad. Gotta love the star. Gotta respect the staying power. Of course, the only reason I'd want to meet with them now is to line them all up so I can punch them one by one. But anyway, but hey, enough about my school years. Let us go now to Mr. Bill Lewis.
Why, thank you, Chadford. I am horrified at your anger and frustration. I mean, yeah, you went to school with these people. They're not the best people in the world, but you want to punch them all out? You monster!
Never follow your high
OMG.
school people on social media. That's all I'll say.
I've said enough. So this is a piece that I wrote in, what, 1972. About half a mile from the village, the captain formed us into a skirmish line, spreading the company widely across the open field in front of us. With our M1s at the ready, we advanced cautiously toward the half-dozen buildings that made up the little village. We moved quietly, not because we thought we might surprise any enemy still in the village, but because we had nothing to say. We were all 18, 19 years old and nervous as hell. At about 25 yards, a light machine gun opened up from one of the sheds. The flashes of the muzzle lit up the early morning shadows, creating a splash of color in an otherwise drab landscape. I think Monet would have appreciated the contrast. We, of course, were far too busy to dwell on the impressionistic metaphors. The captain was screaming at us, "Charge! Move, you idiots! Move!" We started running towards death as fast as we could. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw one of my peers go down. I didn't stop. "Shoot! What the fuck are you doing? Shoot!" Running at full speed, it's pretty much impossible to actually hit anything, but we obeyed and scattered our fires across the village. Amazingly, the machine gun fell silent. Our sergeant, Marty, was a few yards ahead of me as we entered the village. In a blur of activity, I noticed a black-clad body draped over a well. The colonel was standing to the side. Marty hit the ground, rolled, packed a snow grenade. He pulled the pin with his teeth, kicked open the door and tossed it in, then threw himself into a snowdrift to avoid the blast. But there was no blast because snowballs don't explode. Because this wasn't a real battle, this was just an ROTC training exercise in Wisconsin, which explains why we were carrying M1s. The colonel was laughing his head off, watching Marty's antics.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bill. And now, Jackie Oldham, once again.
I'm sorry, did you call me?
Jackie, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, this is a new poem, and the title is Count Down the Final Quarter. A little long, I hope not too long. Judging by the U.S. average lifespan of 78 years, I can only count on 6 more years. My father's last breath, just 1 month after his 79th birthday, that he never having suffered life-threatening burns from a freak accident 7 years longer to age 86. We celebrated her birthday with a surprise dinner party at a fancy restaurant. 7 months later, she took her final breath, not when on the to the ER and cold. The doctor revived her, but early the next morning she left forever. My father endured years of dialysis, a fate my mother declined. Unlike my parents, my chronic kidney disease has, for 11 years, defied the doctor's grim prognosis. The nephrologist kicked me out of the clinic, my numbers too close to normal for care. Freed from care, I've lived my life the way I want to, eating and drinking according to my body's will. I survived an early bout of COVID before we even knew its symptoms, survived the isolation and fear. Writing poems and meeting other poets virtually and being published online gave me new life. But now, as people meet once more in person, I cling to illusion and fear. Many of my friends and family have died or moved away from me, breaking the chain of connections, forming smaller familial circles. I've grown old in my isolation, left with memories and regrets from the past, unable to leave them behind, afraid to move forward with my new implanted eyes, old broken teeth, and joints stiffening. I fear what more I might lose. Recently, my 14-year-old car got stuck in wet cement. I could not see the non-existent barriers around it. So now I must plan each trip in advance, foreseeing hidden obstacles, detours, and bumps on the road ahead, plotting alternative routes. For what do I take all these precautions? From whom am I afraid to take my leave? I have no way of knowing what awaits me when my time on this earth winds down. Thank you.
You are cherished here.
I'm always happy to have you. Keep enjoying this new life. And now let's welcome up Mr. Richard Spizak.
I am going to pay tribute to our brother, Mr. James Van Loy. He has regaled us with so many wonderful songs and joy. James, this one's for you, buddy, and only incidentally for you other magical, wonderful poets. In honor of Labor Day and Brother James, I offer you this little ditty. There once was a Union maid who never was afraid of the goons and the ginks and the company binks and the deputy sheriff that made the raid. She'd go to the Union Hall when the meeting it was called, and when the company boys came around, she always stood her ground. Oh, you can't scare me, I'm sticking to the Union. I'm sticking to the Union. I'm sticking to the Union. Oh, you can't scare me. I'm sticking to the Union. I'm sticking to the Union till the day I die. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. Solidarity.
Thank you, sir. Up next, how do you follow up all out, like basically an action movie script with co-starring Kurt Vonnegut? Only John Wessex can answer that.
Well, thank you. This is part two, the comedic purgatorial. We walked the dusty road in silence until dawn, when the hot sun made the gastric juices my escape from hell left on my skin to begin to itch. My only consolation was that the stink repelled the malaria mosquitoes. I imagine my companion was as uncomfortable as I. Can a former demon get malaria? I didn't know. After hours of traveling, we still hadn't come across a drugstore. No 7-Eleven, no KFC, nothing. So when we happened on the Fianarantsoa Community College, we paused outside the concrete fence topped with broken bottles. At the gate, a guard in khaki vest and shorts stopped us. "You boys can't go in stinking like that." He tilted his 8-pointed cap back on his head. "You gots to take a shower first." After much negotiation, he hauled a garden hose to the gate, handed us a sliver of green soap, and draped a shabby towel the color of a concrete floor over the wall. My companion and I stripped off our filthy clothes and washed ourselves in the tepid trickle of water. I must say he was well endowed. I wasn't the only one to notice a passing co-ed stopped in the courtyard and chewed her blonde braid while watching the former demon scrub our clothes in a galvanized steel bucket. Fortunately, the hot sun dried them quickly so he could dress before the poor woman missed too many classes. "Hi, what's your name?" A beauty in an afro approached my companion as soon as he walked through the gate. Her shorts revealed long, shapely, chocolate-colored legs. Chad? "Well, Chad, you can call me Honey." She placed a hand on his massive bicep. "Excuse me, honey," I said, "is there some kind of student union building around here? Someplace we can get some aspirin?" Without looking away from Chad's face, she raised her finger in the vague direction of the sun. Working her other hand under his overalls, she began fondling his nipple. "Let's go, Chad." I tugged him from her grasp. "We have to get some aspirin for your headache, remember?" The convenience store in the student union building stocked aspirin as well as the bandages and disinfectant needed to dress the wounds left by removing the horns from Chad's head. I loaded up on cheese curls and Arizona iced tea, too. The cashier, a redhead in a prim blouse, giggled when we got to the register. "You're going to need these." She took a large box of Magnum condoms from under the counter and added them to our purpose. "Here you go, stud." After paying, I handed Chad the 36-pack of extra large condoms. The hallway outside the Andriana Poini Marina conference room was in good a place as any to clean Chad's wound. For a demon from hell, he sure was a pussy. As soon as I touched the divots on his head with the alcohol-soaked pad, he began to blubber. While I was cleaning out the dried blood, I thought I recognized a familiar voice coming from inside the conference room. I finished by taping 2 sterile dressings on Chad's head and hoped removing them wouldn't pull out too much of his curly hair. "That should hold you until you get to a doctor, Chad." "Doctor!" Chad's eyes widened. "No doctor." Whatever. I realized then that I'd heard the voice from the conference room at the Idlewild Summer Poetry Festival. Mind if we step inside and listen? Inside, poet Chris Abani read from Daphne's Lot while standing in the center of a circle of folding chairs. The audience consisted mostly of North American and Europeans in their mid-20s. "You're late," a thin African man whispered. "Take your seats." He pointed to 2 empty chairs. I was too busy listening to explain who we were. Nobel Prize winner Nadine Gordimer followed Chris. It would have been a good reading except for the sound of Chad rustling cellophane and chomping cheese curls. By the time Nadine finished, everyone in the room assumed my companion and I were enrolled in the Fianarantsoa Community College's MFA program in creative writing. After thanking the speakers, the man who had spoke to us earlier addressed the students. "Welcome to the MFA program." He nodded to Chad and me. "I am your professor, Emmanuel Kwafi. You may be asking yourself how you can get an MFA from Fianarantsoa Community College in just 7 weeks when other programs take up to 2 years. Simple. Instead of fighting human nature, we use it by breaking your studies into 7 modules of lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. We help our students obtain stupendous results. He flashed a brilliant smile. So, get a good night's sleep. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. when we begin with sex. To be continued. And of course, you can also find this book in my collection, Arugula. I'll put a link in the chat.
Sex and Chad, a man named Chad, something I never thought would ever be combined ever again in a sentence. Let us. And Robert Fleming is making his own little tone poem in the comments section. Good Lord. What else can I do but pass the mic over to Mr. Gentleman Galt?
Okay, here we go. Thank you very much. Some of you might remember if you've seen the movie Toy Story. There was this particularly demented kid in the movie that liked to make twisted versions of his toys, liked to take them apart and put them all together in weird versions, usually kind of twisted versions. And I really connected with that kid, but I kind of went through a phase of that myself. Anyway, this is called Backyard Games, and it kind of falls into the memoir, confessional genre of poetry. Again, here it is, Backyard Games. It was my corner of the backyard. Behind the digging mound was this big bush. Behind it was my secret hideaway. Out of view of my mother's view from the kitchen. Unfortunately, it was in view of the neighbors, who were always watching. So I was back there playing one bright day when a neighbor came up to the fence and greeted me. She was a nice lady. She said it was a beautiful day to be out, and it was. She asked if I was having a good time playing out there. I was. She asked if I was having a good time out there. I was. It was all casual and normal, except that, well, just 2 feet away was my G.I. Joe tied up to a pole. That was what brought her over. Yep, that was what brought her over. I half expected her to bring out some of those ink blot cards. It looks like fly vomit, lady. Did she have my mother's number? I would have to just tell her that it was my mother that gave me the idea by requiring me to watch that movie about Jesus. Sometimes religious movies don't get you the results you want, mother. It wasn't the first time I had tortured my action figures. My mother asked me once why G.I. Joe was hanging by his neck in the basement. I was the kid Amnesty International wrote letters to. The lady asked if I looked forward to starting school in the fall. She wished me a nice rest of the summer, then said goodbye and walked back to her house. She never brought up the G.I. Joe. Maybe she had boys of her own and knew how it was. My mother never did get a phone call either. Thank you.
Childhood adventures. We conclude this night with the return of James Van Loy, whose column I'll be putting up for Oddball Magazine tomorrow at 11 o'clock after this reading. So thank you guys all so much, and thank you to James.
Thank you. Yeah, so I've got our dear leader, dictator in chief. Rocky and Bullwinkle came up against him when Boris and Natasha's big bad boss became the icing on conspiratorial cake as they summoned their super supreme leader to be the ultimate insurance for their evil plan to aid the international syndicates of crime in fixing a football game where Bullwinkle Moose was star of the home team, and we were all assumed to be on the home team. of the Fry West, that is the Free West back then, nuclear armed Cold War, just after the World Wars one and two started and then sort of ended the modern transformation renaissance, the cusp of technological wave always crashing, a new wave reverberating the shoreline now, trough and crest, brushing up against the beach of the bridge to the future, constantly turning into the current age misinformation bubbles, corporate crime, and like 21st century science being buried like an old bone of evidence. The very dig we really need, defunded, and then delimited, canceled by the cancel culture whiners and haters club. Come gather round people wherever you roam and admit that the waters around you have grown and accept that you've seen will be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. For the times they are a changing. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. Don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin. There's no telling who that it's naming, for the loser now will be later to win. For the times they are a changing. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall. For he who gets hurt will be he who has stalled the battle outside that's raging. Will soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a changing. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend a hand. For the times they are a changing. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow and now will later be last, as the present now will soon be the past. The old order is rapidly fading. The first one now will later be last. For the times they are a change. And of course, that's Bob Dylan. Thank you.
And with that, I thank you all and hope to have more new announcements coming up for the month of September. Hopefully, more exciting things to announce and just an all open mic. There's been a lot going on. If you haven't yet, consider submitting to Oddball magazine. Keeping up with the times, we have a lot going on as I'm talking now. There is still a person who was walking down a campus road in UMass, a campus path in UMass Lowell with a rifle, and has ended up not still not being has still at large and has not been caught. A lot going on tonight, and lots going to go on tomorrow night and tomorrow day. And it's just not going to stop. But neither are we. There, I knew I could turn into something halfway positive. Thank you all for coming. Have yourselves an excellent evening.
Thanks, James. Thank
It was
you,
great.
Chad. Thank you all.
It's great to have you here tonight. Thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you for your words. Can't wait to get caught up on the Stone Soup Crouton poems. Yes, thank you, Robert, for the self hug or the miming of, I guess, strangulation to me. Um, I'm not sure. Yeah, there we go. God. Thank you very much and have yourselves an excellent evening. More to come, promise. And have a good night. The show's over. See you next time.
Don't forget those Magnum condoms, Chad.
Good Lord.